everyone, welcome to another episode of The Digital Kitchen. Today I am joined by Mr. Richard Ebbs, who's the Head of Commercial Development here at Nisbets. And he has very thankfully come down to talk to us all about energy and energy efficiency and how that is important in the industry currently. So energy prices obviously are soaring currently, so by making the right choice, you can really start saving some money. So it's not about the initial outlay to begin with, it's about the bigger picture. So we're going to pick your brains and really steal your information that you've got held up there and hopefully dial in why one is necessarily a better choice than the other. So this isn't brand comparison, this isn't one is better than the other in terms of quality, it's all about energy. So thank you very much for joining us. We shall discuss and see what happens. Mr. Ebbs, thank you very much for joining us. Energy efficiency.
Yes.
We'll start with induction. A lot of people will have heard of induction, some may not have. If you haven't, there are videos available on the Nisbets YouTube channel, so check them out. But again, here is an induction hob, quite simply, and then a standard electric hob. So what's the difference? Where are we saving? What's the story with these two?
Okay, so I mean, I think probably from a chef's point of view, a lot of chefs are now moving away from the traditional way of a 6-burner gas, moving into induction a lot more.
Yeah.
But and it's kind of known in the trade that it saves you money using induction. But the real question is, how much money does it save you when you compare it to something like an electric hob? So again, the test we set up here was tested in the digital kitchen next door, and we're literally comparing, how much does it cost us to run this versus running this. Okay, so what we've done is we looked at the power in use to start with. So the induction hob uses 2,495 watts of power, as opposed to this Caterlight hob uses 1,650 watts of power. So that's how much it's drawing at any one time.
Yeah.
Now, and that's basically on full power for both of them. Now you could say, well, that sounds like it's drawing a lot less power than this in the first place. However, it's about how long it takes you to actually, perform the task in itself.
Bring that water up to temperature, which will...
So, yeah. Okay, so if we turn them both on. Now, the induction hob there took, it was just shy of 2 minutes to boil that water. We're actually sort of working on the principle of 28p per kilowatt. So depends on when this video goes out.
Exactly, and when it's live.
How much,
that could be cheap or it could be really expensive, so don't blame us.
Absolutely depends on how much it's going to cost us.
Yeah.
And we actually use the same pan for both tests themselves, and we use the same amount of water in both pans. Yeah. So this basically took it 2 minutes to boil the water. Yep. This one here took 9.1 minutes to boil the water. As you can see, it's significantly longer than an induction hob. So that's one of the benefits of induction. It's very, very quick, very, very quick to heat up and very, very rapid to respond to when you want to turn it off as well. Now that basically meant cost in use, to boil that sort of litre of water, this would have cost you 2p to do, as opposed to this unit here would have cost you 7p to do. Now you think, okay, is that really that important, 2p versus 7p? It doesn't sound like much money, but if you used it 20 times a day, you used it 5 days a week, and you did that for 50 weeks of the year. So that's pretty much what most people
Standard
are probably
operation,
using in a kitchen. This unit would cost you £116.43 to use on a yearly basis. You can see the water is already
we're nearly there now, so you can see straight away.
Now this unit here, for the same amount of sort of usage, you could say, that would cost you £350. So you're pretty much paying for the price of the unit within itself, within probably around 9 months on the two. And that, again, this is the benefit. You've got a lot of benefits such as the speed, the accuracy, the fact it's not putting any heat into the actual atmosphere of the room itself.
Absolutely.
But you've got the benefits of things like this, the cost of use as well.
Yeah. And I guess this is obviously down to, this is just one unit, so chances are you're not going to have just one unit. That you could have a 6-ring version of that one, you could have a 6-zone induction, so that's going to be amplified even more so. So this is really bringing it down to its basics and just showing you that small difference can make big differences over time. And certainly if change big estates, that sort of stuff, this really is an obvious reason where you're going to make that saving.
Absolutely, yeah. Should we go to the next product?
Yeah. So onto our next product in the range that we're looking at today. Something people probably often forget about and think it's just something in the corner that I sort of need in the kitchen to tick the boxes, but don't really think there's much difference in it. So we've got 2 insect killers or fly zappers, killers, whatever you want to call it. One is an entry-level one for Nisbets Central, and then we've got the Easy Zap killer, one being LED, one being standard bulb. Where's the difference in this? Surely there can't be that much difference in cost.
Yeah, I don't think with initial cost there is much difference between the two. Both of these units are, as you can see, 50 metres squared. radius, so they take exactly the amount of space, you could say, that they're using. Price-wise, I mean, at time of print, this one was selling for £34.99, which is the EasyZap one, and this one here was selling for £25.99. So again, very, very relatively close in price. But you're thinking, what are you getting for your extra £10 when you're paying for this one here? Now, when you start looking at the power and use, the EasyZap one is using 10.7 watts of electricity, while this is using 18.55 watts of electricity. So both very, very low amounts of power that they're actually drawing. Because these are the sort of products which are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you don't tend to just have one unit, you probably have multiple units. Mm-hmm. So when you start looking at the cost per day, 7p versus 12p. So again, not an awful lot of money. Cost per year, £26.30 versus £45.37. Again, so you can see that the unit will actually pay for itself in the space of a year, and you can actually buy a brand new one. However, you've got to remember, these are the sort of products which are not used just in one kitchen. You'll probably find that over a lot of restaurants, they may have 4 or 5 of these units. And as I said, they're on 24 hours a day, 364 days a year. Mm-hmm. So again, it's going to really add up those money. Yeah. So, it's cheaper by £19, 8 pence. Again, we worked on the same principles, working on the kilowatts of electricity being 28p, based on the principle it being on 24 hours a day. The other thing is that LED bulbs themselves last a lot longer. Yeah. So the fact is that you're going to have to change these bulbs a lot less frequently than you'd have to do on a standard bulb. And again, that's going to add to the cost of replacing those bulbs in the first place.
Yeah, so I guess it just goes to show even something as simple as a fly, in killer or an insect zapper sort of thing in your kitchen can save you money. So all these little things that we're adding up here, pence, as the phrase goes, look after the pence and the pounds look after themselves. And this is pretty much showing the case straight in front of us here. So interesting. I mean, the interesting thing, if you think of a large chain, so a large chain could have sort of 500 restaurants across the UK. If they had 5 of these units in one of their restaurants, they'll be saving up to £50,000 a year just on what is basically a product which sits in the corner. It's amazing when you scale it up to that and show those sort of numbers, and all that. When you've got a larger estate of restaurants, it really does make a difference. Just looking after the small pennies can massively amplify into the pounds. So very interesting just on this simple product.
Absolutely.
Right, so the next product, the simple toaster. Everybody must have used one by now. Even though if you can't cook at all, surely somebody can use a toaster. But surely a toaster is a toaster. Where are we saving energy on these?
Okay, so you may think I'm slightly mad here, because what we're going to do here is compare a 4-slot Rowlett toaster against a 4-slot Rowlett toaster.
I didn't want to say anything, but apart from being red and black, I didn't think there'd be much difference.
It's identical toaster.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's really highlighting one of the features that the Rowlett toaster and some of the other toasters, commercial toasters, have on the market, and that is the slot selector function that they have on it. So on the toaster itself, you can select between having 1, 2, 3, or 4 slots working at any one time. So what I wanted to sort of show you is exactly, what difference does it make if you leave it on 1 slot compared to just leaving it on 4 slots the whole time, but then cooking just 1 piece of bread in each one.
Yeah.
So energy use in power. So if you only have it on 1 slot, so this toaster is using 760 watts of power. If you leave it on 4 slots the whole time, it's using 1,886 watts of power, or 1.8 kilowatts. So again, you can see it's significantly more. Mm-hmm. Now, what does that mean in cost and use? Well, for one piece of toast, you could say, every time you slice or cook a slice of toast, it's going to cost you 4p if you've got it on 1 slice on 1 slot, and it's going to cost you 9p if you leave it on that 4-slot principle. So quite a lot more.
Saving. Yeah,
but you think, like 4p, 9p, it's not costing you an awful lot. But again, it's all about mathematics and adding
golden
it up.
rule again.
So cost is, if you used it 50 times a day, you used it 5 times a week, and used it 50 weeks a year, so again, which is pretty much an average hotel or breakfast bar, then this one would be using it on the 1 slot. It will cost you £133 to use. This one here would cost you £330 to use on current 28p a kilowatt pricing.
Yeah,
so using that selector function can save you £197 a year, which is basically more than the price of the toaster.
So you can get another toaster and then some. So very interesting. Again, something as simple as a toaster. Again, something people just go, I need a toaster. I'll go and buy one just because I need to make some toast. Very simple product. But again, having to think about it, having to look at the energy consumption and making a simple choice can save you so much money over 12 months. And this is just one toaster. So again, if you've got a large estate and you've got toasters in all your hotels, all your restaurants, what have you, that is a massive saving. So very interesting.
And we are comparing here a Rowlett to Rowlett, you could say. But now the reason for that is because a lot of the domestic toasters are either all on or all off. You don't get the option to select how many toasts toast you can do it at one time. So it's only really those commercial, professional toasters that have that functionality with them. Hence why we want to sort of point it out and highlight it today.
Yeah, definitely. So very, very interesting. So again, quick overview of toasters, but again, making the right choice can really save you some money. So yeah, we'll press on and move on to the next product. So yeah, let's go. Again, it's one of those products you sort of take for granted. I need a fridge, buy a fridge, put it in the kitchen, and then we don't really talk much more about it. But it's really, again, coming back down to making the right choice can really save you money, again, over time. So what's the two fridges we've got on here?
Okay, so I'm actually sort of comparing two, pretty much like-for-like fridges when it comes to the size. So you've got a True unit there. And the True unit is, again, sold by Nisbets. You can find it on our website. The Toast unit we don't sell, but again, it's a very similar size when it comes to capacity, when it comes to spec, which is why I wanted to compare the two.
Yeah.
So again, it's very important to say we're not trying to compare brands here. We're
No.
just looking at energy efficiency between the two. Now, True make a real big song and dance about the fact they are energy efficient, and they talk quite a bit about the fact that energy efficiency is important to them.
Yeah.
So we look at the power. So the power used in a True unit is 307 kilowatts a year. The power used in a year in a Toast unit was 788 kilowatts. This is taken from their own numbers, basically. So we're only compare like for like. Now, if we start looking at that principle of 28p for a kilowatt of electricity, again, based on the fact you don't tend to turn your fridge off, so it's going to be on 24 hours a day, 364 days a year, it means the cost per year for the True is £85.96, and the cost per year for the Atoza is £220.64.
Wow.
Now, again, it means that the True is cheaper to be used by £134.68. But again, you may think that's not earth-shattering numbers, but you got to remember you don't have one fridge in your restaurant. You're likely to have numerous numbers. So if you have 10 fridges, you can be saving over £1,000 a year just on the fridge itself.
Just on the fridge, and just on power. That's just free money to a degree, because you've got to have one plugged in. So having the right one plugged in is going to automatically save you money. So it makes sense. And again, we're sort of, there's a bit of a pattern going on here. These are very, very basic products that you'd find in most kitchens. But as we're going through the range, you can really see where these, by choosing the right product, can really save you money. And you're getting the same result at the end of the day to a degree. It's just about making the right choice at the beginning. So it's not about overall looking at the first initial, bottom end price. It's about stepping back and going, hang on a minute, what else is out there? But why is that one a bit more expensive? What does it save me? And that's where we can help as well. So yeah, we'll carry on to the next product. But this is really interesting. So yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Right, so the next sort of one we're looking at is accelerated ovens. So here we have the Chibo Plus, which is a relatively new product by Linkat. And again, just emphasizing, we're not talking about brand comparison, one's better than the other. This is all about looking at savings, so energy saving, labor saving, that sort of thing. So Chibo, why have we got this out? What's so special about this one?
Okay, so not to steal your thunder too much, I've seen your fantastic vlog on this product already. So hopefully you'll be able to help me out with some of the features here.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll save you. It'll be fine.
Very good. But generally these products they fall into three categories actually, because they do save time.
Yep.
So they're cooking a lot more rapidly because of that microwave power they've got inside them. They can save labour, which hopefully we can sort of demonstrate in a second.
Yep.
And they're also saving energy as well. So the Chibo Plus, for instance, will actually deliver a 12-inch pizza and 6 toasties as as little as 30p. So again, amazing sort of saving cost and the benefit. And it only uses 1.4 kilowatts of energy doing that. Okay. However, it's when the oven isn't in use, I think this one it comes into its own because it has this eco function. Yeah. So are you want to demonstrate how this works, Chris?
So you can put it into eco mode there, as simple as a press of a button. If we come out of that now, how does that work? So if we go into the settings, we'll go into the user settings here, temperature control, and then you've got the eco settings here. So it's enabled, and what that is basically saying here is after a designated time, so I've set that to 90 minutes. So as soon as the oven's not being used, it's in standby mode for 90 minutes or so, no programs are being cooked, then it will automatically drop down to 145 degrees and then wait there until it's re-enabled and come out to be used again. So great if you're, you've come out of busy service, but you don't want the oven to cool down completely, so you can set it into its eco mode and it'll sit there turning over quite happily until you need to do it again. Press the go, and then it will regenerate back up to its cooking temperature. This one around about 260, 270, 280, depending on what the user sets the programs to. So it's a great feature to have because it will just automatically step down. So normally if you're in a restaurant or a cafe or something where these are quite prominent, normally you would just leave it on and the user would go, we need the oven, so we'll just leave it on all day, and it's quite happy there burning away at 270 degrees doing nothing. But automatically with this sort of feature, it will step down to a lower temperature, saving money. So simple as that, really.
Brilliant. Of course, it saves a lot of when it comes to food waste as well. So
Absolutely.
Traditionally, the way to look after your food was to sort of store it all out, and then you cooked it when it was required. That's kind of how this works now. Beforehand, you'd have to hold it on hot plates, I imagine.
Yes. Yeah.
So, as a chef, how much sort of food waste would you used to have before this type of technology came in?
Yeah, so we used to get quite hammered on food waste. You'd have to have certain targets to hit and things, and you'd have to sort of justify why you were wasting it. But it's always difficult. Certainly, sort of my background, we were cooking for large sort of numbers. Is the first person in the queue needs to have the same sort of choice as the last person in the queue. Now that's inevitably going to create food waste. So yeah, chefs can be clever, doing soups and doing extras and using the waste for certain things. But there's other products you simply just can't use and has to be thrown away. Whereas having something like this sort of takes that away, because you can cook technically to order. Because the speed, the 3 cooking methods that are in here, or the other high-speed ovens you can get, really amplifies that cooking time. So what was, for an example, a pizza, as we were talking about earlier, would normally take, for a fresh pizza, say 7 to 10 minutes, depending on size. Frozen pizza, 18 to 20 minutes, again, depending on temperature. This, you're looking at doing a frozen 12-inch pizza in around about 3 minutes. So very, very, very quick. So now all of a sudden, you can have that product frozen, take it out, serve it to the customer. You don't have to defrost it and go, I've only got 2 days on it, 3 days on it, I have to throw it away. So by that, you get a great saving on food waste alone.
Great. And of course, from a labour point of view, it's quite hard these days to get hold of staff, necessarily trained staff. I can imagine it's even harder. So how can an oven like this help to sort of, cover that gap in sort of the training of staff? Yeah,
so, great. So as we're saying, it's very difficult to get staff. It's, certainly enthusiastic staff who want to do cooking and core cooking and things like that. So what they've done with these sort of ovens is everything is sort of pre-programmed. So all the hard work is done behind the scenes, whereby we create the cooking programs, you get your products, we develop the recipe inside the oven, and the oven then will cook that product perfectly. So what happens for the end user, all they simply have to do is take the product out of the packaging, out of the fridge, what have you, put it into the oven, press go, so simple as that. Temperature's getting ready. Obviously this oven's just been turned on, so it's not up to temperature, but from there, they just literally press go and it would start doing its cooking. So it takes away pretty much all the skill set. You've literally just got to put the product in and press a button. So it's great as well with the little images on there. So if language barriers are a problem, you can get ones with images and descriptions and stuff like that. So great for that sort of thing and consistency.
Cool. And ease of use. I mean, obviously, there's 13 amp plug on this unit. Do you need extraction or anything like that?
Fully ventless. USB on there as well, so you can transfer your programs if you needed more than one. And 99% of high-speed ovens are ventless. There's a couple that aren't, but generally they're fully ventless, meaning they can go anywhere. Again, great for front of house as well, and coffee shops and stuff. That's why you see them prominently in QSR sort of restaurants and things.
Brilliant. Cool.
Right, so I guess that's an overview of why these sort of high-speed ovens can help you from an energy point of view. Again, we're not brand comparison, all about energy. So let's move on to the next product and see what we've got to talk about. So next up, I guess we've got this funny-looking contraption. What is it and what does it do?
It's a glass polisher.
Yes.
So again, the idea of this is to finish off and polish your glasses after they come out of a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Now, glasses that come out of a dishwasher, they tend to end up with watermarks on them. So it's basically where you get calcium build-up and things like that on the glass, and it dries out and you get the
that nasty sort of, if you hold it up into the light, you get that sort of milky, sort of musty sort of look.
That's the stuff.
Which you don't want.
Exactly. So what this basically does, turn it on, have a go.
Let's have a go. Let's have a go.
So you can see.
I've got some glasses here, some I made earlier.
Wow, very good. So what you've got here is it's circulating around, polishing the glass. It's taking out the labour for it. You enjoying that?
Enjoying that. Yeah. It's quite therapeutic.
What your audience won't be able to see is that this tower here is actually blowing hot air as well over the
so that's
unit.
drying
the brushes basically as you go, so making sure that you don't have to keep stopping and changing all your brushes all the time.
Okay.
Now the point of this machine really is that larger hotels and chains, they can be spending up to 2 hours a day just polishing glasses.
Yeah.
It's a very labour-intensive thing, just polishing glasses. Now you might think that's a task that has to happen, but of course this takes all the labour away from it, but also reduces things like sprains and strains and that type of thing from the reaction of repetitive strain of polishing glasses.
Yeah.
Now from a labour point of view, if you think the average wage you're paying a chef at the moment, if you times up those 2 hours a day over a year, it's going to be saving you around £5,935 worth of labour.
Yeah.
Now in reality, that is, you may say, well, I'm not actually saving that labour, so I can't make someone go home 10 minutes early each day or whatever, but in reality what it really means is they can do something else, so you can be using that labour for doing some other tasks instead.
Yeah, these sort of tasks are quite, it's monotonous and it's a long time doing when you could be doing something a lot more, not beneficial because it obviously needs to be done, but a lot more benefit to what you're doing to get the job done, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the idea. This is a labour-saving device.
Yeah, and I guess, as you say, it's all right, I've got the staff, they can do the cleaning, or they can do it. I don't need to invest in one of these. But again, it's coming back to thinking that initial cost of something. A lot of people don't take in that labour cost when they're thinking of doing stuff. They go, so I'll get the cheaper one because my peelers or automatic slicers, veg prep and stuff like that. I got a chef who can prep the veg up, just for instance, but a veg prep machine will do that in a quarter of the time. So it's looking at the cost of labour versus the cost of the machine and weighing it up. And in this case, it's a big saving. So again, simple product, but it's going to save you money. So yeah, great, interesting.
Absolutely.
Right, so I guess we're on to the next one. So what's up next? So I guess the next piece that we're looking at on the screen here is again, a machine that most kitchens will have, and they'll just assume they need one, and that's a glass washer, dishwasher, ware washing sort of stuff. So there's a few machines out there. Obviously, you can go from the entry-level stuff right up to the high-end stuff, but we're talking about a process, I guess, called reverse osmosis. So what's reverse osmosis?
Okay, so this video actually we're going to play now kind of explains reverse osmosis in a little more detail. So this is the video. It's done by a company called Winterhalter. So they're one of the brands that put reverse osmosis in some of their dishwashers. And this is the system and how it works. So you can see here the chap is pouring in what looks like a few litres of Coke Zero, and that's going to be passing through the machine. So that comes through this pipe here and through the machine, and then it comes out the other side as what is basically pure water. So again, it's quite an impressive video, so it kind of really explains what's happening. So what reverse osmosis does, it removes all the impurities from the water. So it can remove up to 99% of the impurities. Of course, the benefit of removing those impurities are that you get nothing which is going to stain the glass when it comes out or stain the cutlery.
Yeah, so
pure again, water. That machine we showed you earlier, we had to polish the glass. We don't need to polish at all now. So again, glass is coming straight out of the dishwasher, perfectly clean, no watermarks, and it can be served straight to the customer. Again, saving labour.
Saving labour, big thing there. I guess you can do it with cutlery as well. If you're doing large functions, you can polish your cutlery technically in the machine. It's not going to come out, you leave it dry. We've all done it, certainly with lots of a basket full and there's loads of spotting everywhere, and then you've got to spend hours cleaning it and polishing it. But this takes all that away. Again, it's going to cost you a bit more up front, but as the golden rule, step back, look at the bigger picture. So yeah, another simple product that everybody tends to take for granted, but getting the right one can certainly save you money.
Absolutely.
So yeah, cool. Excellent. So yeah, what's up next? Let's have a look. Next up, we're going to do some food preservation and looking at food waste and how simple products can help you in the kitchen with that topic. So what are we looking at here? Okay,
so we've got two machines we're going to look at. So this is a dehydrator. So we'll talk about that in a second. But this is a vacuum pack machine. So again, this is something that I know chefs use a heck of a lot on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Now, my understanding is obviously vac pack machines, as they're quite often referred to, do sort of focus on three different areas. So they first of all reduce storage space. So again, meaning that you can put more in your fridge.
As demonstrated.
As demonstrated here. It will reduce the risk of cross-contamination. So again, once it's sealed into that bag, you've got no risk of bacteria going from one bag to the other, you could say. And food would last significantly longer as well. So if vacuum packed, it can last up to 5 times longer, which of course is great news when you're looking at food waste and the food waste costs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the great thing about Nisbets is we also sell compostable bags as well. So again, you don't necessarily even have to affect the environment when using these products.
That's a big thing I've noticed, certainly with people coming in, looking at these machines going, have you looked at vac? Oh, I don't want to do that because of the whole plastic wasting. But there are, as I say, bags now which are compostable. So yeah, it's worth considering now looking at them. Certainly if you're looking at being more green carbon, your carbon footprint, that sort of thing. But again, from a chef's point of view, you can use them for multiple things as well, like flavour transfer, infusion, that sort of stuff, because of the way they operate. Again, that could be a whole vlog on itself, so we won't touch too much on that. Then we move over, I guess, to the dehydrator.
Yes, dehydrators, again, chefs are known for being very clever when it comes to food. Famously, yesterday's mains became tomorrow's soups, and even to staff meals. And
chef
all sorts
special.
Of
it's always
very
the chef
famous. I can remember sort of Gordon Ramsay talking about in his book Humble Pie about even a leek, the different parts of a leek and how it's used in different types of menus for different things. So nothing goes to waste with chefs. And again, I think dehydrators are probably a great example of how you can reuse foods. So as a chef, have you used dehydrator before, and have you used it?
Absolutely, yeah. So we've used dehydrators in the past. I guess a simple, what people probably refer to as a dehydrator would be something like fruit that's going bad or it's nearly on the turn, you can lay it in there, slice it all up, dehydrate it to a crisp, and then you can either use them as a garnish. You could obviously salt them up and use them as actual crisps, or you can break them down into a dust and use them for cake toppings, certainly like apples and things like that. So there's loads of options and processes you can use. Plus, obviously, the cooking side of things, you can make your biltongs, your all that sort of stuff, and your jerkies and things, and these sort of things as well. There's loads of uses for it.
Yeah.
Again, just a very, very simple little product, but it's preserving that food. It's taking the moisture out, it's taking all the bad bits out, so it's going to last that bit longer, and a very simple product that does that.
Yeah.
So I guess, again, very quick introduction onto these couple of products, but there's, again, just another way of saving some energy, saving money, saving time, saving labour, which is exactly what this video is about. So yeah, great.
Cool.
So yeah, let's move on to the next one. That's another interesting product when it comes down to food waste. Is a machine called the IMC Waste Station. So I guess in a nutshell, what's that? We're going to play a little video, I guess. But what's the IMC Waste Station?
Yeah, I mean, it's a way that you can get rid of your food waste in your kitchens. Again, kitchens are having huge costs put on them for dealing with things like food waste. So again, it's probably easy just to watch the video and see exactly what it does. So hopefully that sort of explains a little bit about the product itself and how it can reduce your costs of food waste in a kitchen.
So another area of the kitchen, which again is probably second thought of, is the fry suite. So most kitchens will have some form of fryer, whether it be tabletop, tank fryer, filtration fryer, that sort of thing. And what anybody who uses a fryer has obviously noticed recently the increase in oil. It's doubled, in fact, trebled in some cases. Certainly, even since I was back buying oil in a proper kitchen, shall we say. So there are obviously options out there which we're going to sort of discuss in a second. But I guess we'll start off with this product here. So it's quite an interesting product. So it's called fry powder. So what's it doing?
Okay, so fry powder, again, I think it's an absolutely fantastic product. We've been selling it for quite a while, but I think it's probably it's really now come into its own with the cost of oil going through the roof.
It's slipped under the radar, hasn't it, really? So until now, people are like, I need to save oil, so what else is out there? What's this fry powder?
So what this stuff does, you actually add it to your oil, and it basically says it stabilises the oil. So it stops the breakdown of the oil in the first place. So again, it prevents things like the reactions, and it stops the antioxidants appearing in the oil itself.
Okay.
Now what that does, first of all, it stops the oil absorbing into the food quite as much. And by stopping that, first of all, you're producing a far more healthy product for your customer, but also you're stopping having to top up the oil so much, so again, reducing the cost of that oil. It also means you have to filter it less often. It kind of clumps the bits together, the black particles which are in the oil.
The peppering of it when you see it on the chips that you get.
Yeah, and it clumps them together, and then they'll drop to the bottom of the fryer. So again, it means that the oil on the surface is actually staying a lot cleaner for a lot longer.
Yeah.
So fry powder themselves, so this can save you up to 20% on the cost of oil. And with the cost of oil going through the roof as it is now, you can imagine that's really quite important.
Point. Yeah, definitely.
But of course, the other thing is, food tastes better. It looks better, it tastes better, and it cooks faster as well.
Yeah.
Again, it's been proven for 20 years, so it's not like a new product on the market. No. It has been around for quite a while.
And to be honest, we have tested this, so we haven't got this example here, unfortunately, but we did do some fish in the same fryer in the same oil, and then we put fry powder in one and not in the other. And the difference on the fish was actually quite interesting. So the blue roll we had underneath was pretty dry with the one with the fry powder, yet the other one that we did without the fry powder was a lot more saturated, which was quite an interesting test. So we have to replay that test, I think, and record it and show the crowd.
Okay, so this is a chart there that just kind of really breaks down the cost and how much it's going to save you per year. So you can see on the chart here, the amount of oil in the fryer is 20 litres. That's pretty much a standard fryer that we're using. Number of changes per week, let's say you changed it twice a week. And the number of weeks that you're using it for, say 50, so you're close for a couple of weeks. So the amount of oil you're using over that year is basically 2,000 litres. Now the current cost per litre is £2.70. Therefore, your total cost per year of oil you're using is £5,400. Now, when you break it down, the saving oil, if we're sort of saying that you can save up to 20% on the oil, which is again what fry powder are claiming, that's basically the cost of the fry powder is £74.99. The saving the oil there was £1,080. So you can see here, there's 72 portions in a box of fry powder, and you're going to be using about 2 sachets for every time you use it. Now, total, if you use once a day, 5 times a week, 50 times a year, you'll use 500 sachets. So therefore, a number of boxes per year, you're going to be using 7 boxes. So working on the cost there, your total cost per year spend on fry powder would be £520. The saving your year, which is the £520 minus the £1,080 in the saving in oil, you're saving £559 a year. Now, again, you think, okay, that's not particularly earth-shattering. Well, it's quite a lot of money. But again, you times it by having 3 fryers in the site, and you times it by having maybe 10 sites across the country. You can see that's £16,000, nearly £17,000 that a customer could be saving just by adding products as simple as this fry powder to their fryer area.
It's amazing, really, and that's really where this sort of thing really comes into its own, and why we're doing this sort of video today on this sort of products, because you'd see this on the website, you'd see this online, you see it on a shelf, and you'd go, "What's that?" "Oh, it's fry powder." "Oh, yes, it doesn't look anything." But when you put it in a chart like that and really break down the numbers, it's very, very interesting, and it sort of makes you think, actually, that's certainly worth looking at, considering, because it is literally in black and white how it can save you money. I guess fry powder is one option if you haven't got any of these special fryers which are coming out now on the market. Obviously, filtration fryers and stuff, they've been out a while, but there's a couple of fryers. So we know the one from the Vortec from Linkat is obviously quite a prominent fryer. That's got some special features built into it to save with energy saving. So what's those features?
Yeah. Well, it has 2 things. it has sort of built-in filtration in the first place, and built-in filtration on a fry can save you up to 50% of the cost of oil. So again, if you're looking at the cost of oil at the moment, that could save you up to £675
massive
using a filter on it. The other thing it has, it's the way that it actually works itself. So it's very, very energy efficient. So I think hopefully the picture will come up on the screen at the moment, which shows you the way that it works, the heat inside the actual fry itself. So they regard it as 97% efficient. Now, when you compare that to other fryers on the market, so to get Energy Star rating in America, you have to be 40% efficient.
Right, okay.
So by nature, it tells you that a lot of fryers out there are less than 40% efficient. So this is 97% efficient. So the way it does it premixes the air with the gas before it goes into the burner. And that it improves the burning efficiency of the gas, and it also reduces CO2 levels as well. So it's a very, very clever design that kind of recirculates the usual wasted heat that comes out of a fryer. And it kind of directs it around the inside of the tank, and therefore creating further heat, reusing that heat on the heat itself, and also then therefore saving energy.
But you can also get drop-in units, can't you, for fryers, which are going to help to prolong the life of the oil? Yeah,
absolutely. There's a unit out there called Vito, which has been around for a little while. Again, that reduces the oil consumption by up to 50%. It's a very innovative design. So again, it uses like this micro filtering system, and I said, it expands the oil by the fact that you're continuously filtering it through. The difference really is that the built-in filtration systems you see on things like that Linkat we were talking about a minute ago, they're all sort of part of built into the actual unit itself. With a Vito, it's a unit which sits into the oil, and you can see how it sort of sits inside the video in the oil itself, and therefore it's recycling in the oil. Now the benefit of that is that you can use it over number
all your fryers,
rather than just having a filtration system per fryer. So again, saves you potentially cost. Now the saving per month is estimated to be around £225 per fryer. That's if you're doing 2 filters a week. Now let's say you put it on something like a lease from Nisbets, Nisbets, using current pricing, that's going to cost you £90.78. So you can see things like cost saving, being a bit clever with your money, buying energy efficient products and maybe spreading that cost of the product over a year, 2 years, it will actually still pay for itself. So therefore you're having better cash flow by the fact you're moving to energy efficient products.
Yeah, and again, golden rule, look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves. So I guess something as simple as the Vito, again, rolling it across your estate is going to save you lots of money, but there are, of course, other options out there as well. You know, there are fryers with built-in tank systems where you can drop down through service when the oil's hot, so if you're doing cooking with a lot of debris in the oil, you know, you can drop that through middle of service and then prolong that life of that oil because that bread isn't in there, or the product's in there burning the oil. So that's another option. There's, of course, other variations out there with where it goes down to a central tank filtering. There's lots and lots of options out there. You know, of course, there's fryers with safety features as well, but because we're focusing on energy today, we won't mention them. But there's a solution for everything, I guess, is the golden rule. And as we say, you know, a simple product just as the fry powder here, as we just talked about earlier, it just goes to show there are solutions out there. You know, energy costs are soaring. You know, people are struggling. Companies are wondering how they're going to get through sort of the next few months and stuff. But, you know, reach out, come and chat to us and see if what we can do to help. You know, that's what we're here for. And that's exactly why we did this video. It's really to emphasize that there are options out there whereby something as simple as a fry powder can save you that much money in a short period of time. And that's what we wanted to share this knowledge with. So massive thank you for coming down and sharing that knowledge.
Thank you.
It's been really, really interesting. I hope you guys have learned something as well, and it sort of opened your eyes to the fact that there are solutions out there by making a simple choice at the start of the purchase process. And if you've got any questions about anything you've seen today, and of course anything else, please reach out as always on the usual channels. And we shall see you on the next one. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.
For more information on the digital kitchen at the NCC and facility hire, visit the website or give us a call. Details on this are below. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for regular updates on the digital kitchen. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.